Hi there, I am Sankri and I am one of the co-founders of Recall. Um, Recall was really built as a way that you can build your own personal encyclopedia. And there's a couple core features that I want to walk you through specifically focused on how you could use Recall to enhance your learning, both in the classroom, but also at home with take-home assignments. There's a couple features here, and the core piece is how do we then take content and get it into the Recall app, how we summarize and connect content while we're in that Recall app, and then a little bit more on a newer feature, which is really focused on enhanced learning and memory. So I'll start with the first piece, which is how we get information into the Recall app. You can see that I have this little button here, which is just a Chrome browser extension. And clicking this, it has then summarized the contents of this page into just a couple few sentences. So Newton's laws of motion, these have all been summarized here on the right, and it's also done a little bit of keyword extraction. Now, what I've done here on this page, you can do in pretty much any web content, including YouTube videos, including PDFs. For now, I'll just stick to this and I'll come back to another example in a minute. So clicking save, this has now brought me into my Recall web app. I can then tag this, and let's say I call this science. So this is now my science tag, and it will be categorized on, I have quite a lot, but under my science category. Scrolling down, you can see some of those keywords that I just mentioned. Over here, I'm clicking on Isaac Newton, which was a keyword that was extracted, and I can click expand, which will then bring more content in about Isaac Newton that it's found on, in this case, Wikipedia, to further enhance this. And I could really go, I could go nuts with the further links that I could build off in here. So clicking on, let's say, axial precession, I could then come in here, save and expand this card. So let's just pause for that on now. A couple other cool features. So if I click on this little hat, you can see at the bottom here, show this card again, and it's got 3 options. And this is really based on spaced repetition. The idea is just as you're about to forget something, it will then resurface this content to ensure that you retain it. And we resurface it both in app and via an email. You can also generate some questions. I will do the less accurate and fast version for this demo, but this uses AI to then take this context and then actually generate questions to test your knowledge, which is a really great way to ensure that you are actually understanding some of the content that you are consuming. Cool. So, let me see if I can get this right. So according to Newton's first law of motion, an object will stay at rest. An object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an external force, I believe. I won't go through all the questions now, just for the sake of time and not to embarrass myself. But yes, you could then test yourself on a couple of questions. You can also generate more questions or create your own. And this is really honed in on enhancing learning. Coming back to this, as I mentioned, you can use this for several other sources, not just a blog like I've used now. I've used this on Khan Academy, which is just a learning course. And let me show you a new example where I've got a little YouTube video here, which is also related a little bit to Isaac Newton, where this is this is an advert. So let's skip the ad. And you can see that this is now a 20-minute video that really covers a bit of information about pi. And there it is already summarized. It gets a little bit more key mentions. I save it, similar story right back into my Recall with further sort of connections here. And here you can see the number 1 because I am already connected to Isaac Newton on my previous card, and it mentions those 2 links card. Hope you enjoyed this, and hoping that we can chat soon to do a live demo, as we really think that Recall is going to completely change the way that we are absorbing, learning, and retaining information. So thank you, and have a good one.